From dubious casting choices to troubled or even cursed productions, and all the trouble surrounding a certain new smash hit game show. These 10 TV series were all positively mired in controversy throughout the year. So I am Gareth, this is What Culture, and here are the 10 biggest TV controversies of 2023. Number 10, Homer will keep strangling Bart, The Simpsons. For better or worse, depending on your perspective, one of the defining characteristics of Homer Simpson's relationship with his son, Bart, is his tendency to wring his neck when he annoys him, complete with an utterance of "Why you little." During the recent season 35 episode, McMansion and Wife, Homer mentions that he no longer strangles Bart due to changing social norms, prompting fans to note that The Simpsons had seemingly retired the act of father throttling son. Some quarters praised this as a meaningful evolution of Homer's character, while others decried it as a reactionary deletion of one of the show's most willfully absurd gags. Either way, it was subsequently pointed out that Homer actually hasn't strangled Bart on screen since the season 31 episode The Winter of Our Monetized Content, seemingly confirming that The Simpsons had indeed put the long-running joke to bed. But Simpsons producers promptly responded by releasing an image of Homer strangling Bart with the caption, "Why you little clickbait," seeming to suggest that they haven't taken quite such a hard stance on the issue. But do you think it's time to say goodbye to the Homer-Bart strangle? You let me know in the comment section down below. Number 9, contestants plan legal action over injuries, Squid Game: The Challenge. Netflix's Squid Game-themed game show, The Challenge, is something of a ferociously addictive guilty pleasure, an ingeniously conceived remix of the hit South Korean drama series, even if it might inherently undermine the source material's own capitalist critique. Beyond this, the game show made unsavory headlines months before it aired, when reports emerged that 2 players were preparing to file a lawsuit against producers and Netflix due to injuries inflicted while filming one of the games. The pair alleged that they suffered hypothermia and nerve damage while taking part in the show's opening game, Red Light, Green Light, which, while unfolding over a mere hour-long episode, took 7 hours to film inside a chilly UK airport hangar. To date, Netflix asserts that no lawsuit has officially been filed, and that they complied with safety inspections carried out during filming. Yet other contestants have also spoken out about enduring harsh conditions, and even the possibility that aspects of the show were rigged. Oh, the drama. Number 8, the Jonathan Majors debacle, Loki. Much as there was considerable excitement about the second season of Loki, a huge dampener was put on the hype by Jonathan Majors, who plays He Who Remains, Victor Timely, and Kang on the show, being arrested back in March on assault, strangulation, and harassment charges. Majors had completed filming his role in Season 2 months prior to the allegations going public, but in conjunction with the actor being dropped from numerous upcoming projects in light of the charges, it caused many to speculate whether Majors might be recast. Though the actor's fate in the MCU will likely be determined by the outcome of his current ongoing assault trial, which had not yet finished at time of recording, Loki Season 2 released with Majors' role firmly intact, as proved polarizing with fans. Some felt that Majors had every right to appear in the show until proven guilty, while others found his presence excessively distracting, especially as others came forward with their own allegations of abuse against Majors. Either way, the season turned out to be one of the Marvel Cinematic Universe's more acclaimed offerings in recent years, even if ratings were down from the first season. Number 7, basically everything about it, The Idol. HBO's drama series The Idol was both intensely buzzed about and soundly ridiculed long before it even premiered back in June. The limited series, co-created by Sam Levinson and The Weeknd, centers around a female pop star who enters the orbit of a slimeball nightclub promoter who becomes her spiritual leader and guru. Back in April 2022, after roughly 80% of the show had been filmed, it was reported that original director Amy Seimetz had left the project due to creative differences, with Levinson ultimately reshooting the entire series himself amid a creative overhaul. According to numerous reports, The Weeknd wanted to tone down the cult-like facets of the narrative and felt that it leaned too much into a female perspective. Funny for a show with a female protagonist that crew members claim that Levinson's reworked vision for the show was more exploitative and filled with explicit content, while Seimetz's vision was said to be more focused on a young woman reclaiming her agency in a predatory industry. Ultimately, The Idol premiered to disastrous reviews, with many panning its dull, vapid style over substance storytelling and The Weeknd's performance, though Lily Rose Depp received a measure of praise for her committed work. To the surprise of no one, HBO cancelled the show after a single season, which was probably best for all involved. Number 6. Niall's absence, Frasier. It was just a matter of time before a Frasier revival happened, with Paramount formally announcing its development in early 2021. Though Kelsey Grammer's involvement was a given, fans were disappointed when it was announced that David Hyde Pierce, who of course played Frasier's neurotic brother Niles in the original series, would not be appearing. As a series, Frasier is so thoroughly defined by the catty dynamic between Frasier and Niles that the prospect of continuing without one of the duo seemed positively ridiculous. Enough that some fans insisted their interest in the revival had immediately cratered. Ultimately, the recently aired series was watchable enough, largely due to Grammer's note-perfect reprise of his most iconic role, even if Pierce's absence was strongly felt throughout. Though the show made a game effort to fill the void by introducing Nicholas Lyndhurst as Frasier's pretentious college pal Alan, he's just not Niles, is he? And I just wanted to say a quick cheers for checking out this video. And if you are enjoying it so far and want to see a bit more of this kind of stuff, then go and tap on that subscribe button down below. Number 5. It resumed production during the writers' strike, The Drew Barrymore Show. The Drew Barrymore Show has aired more than 700 episodes since debuting in 2020. And though a Drew Barrymore-fronted talk show might seem like the least controversial thing imaginable, she came under intense scrutiny for her conduct during the Writers Guild of America strike. This past September, 4 months into the strike, Barrymore decided to cross the WGA picket line and resume production on the series without writers. Though Barrymore, as the host and not a writer, had no obligation to honor the strike, many saw it as unsupportive of crucial industry action, causing her to be lambasted on social media. WGA members consequently decided to picket the show as it resumed filming, and it was reported that audience members showing support for the WGA were even removed from the studio. Amid the criticism, Barrymore ultimately decided to suspend production until the strike was concluded, which it was by the end of September, with the talk show then resuming in mid-October. Number 4. Mel Gibson's Casting, The Continental. Though there was much excitement about a TV prequel to the John Wick franchise, much of that enthusiasm was stymied following the casting of Mel Gibson in the role of Cormac O'Connor, the vicious proprietor of the New York Continental in the 1970s. Gibson has remained a polarizing public figure for the better part of 20 years, due to an infamous anti-Semitic and sexist outburst made during a 2006 DUI arrest, and a 2010 racist tirade leaked to the press. Though many perceived that Gibson had been accepted back into the Hollywood fold when his 2016 film Hacksaw Ridge nabbed him a Best Director Oscar nomination, he remains an incredibly contentious individual who has struggled to find himself cast in major projects. And so, Gibson's casting in The Continental was disappointing and off-putting to many, no matter the directors and producers who worked on the series defended his role, ascertaining that they found Gibson perfect for the part. Gibson certainly gives an amusingly scenery-chewing performance in the show, though his mere presence was also enough to cause some to immediately tune out. Number 3. A Black Cleopatra, Queen Cleopatra. The second season of Netflix's Jada Pinkett Smith produced African Queen series caught a ton of flack the moment it was announced that it would focus on Queen Cleopatra, who would be portrayed as black by Jamaican English actress Adele James. Many felt that categorizing the series as a documentary was inaccurate and misleading, given the academic consensus that Cleopatra, a Macedonian Greek, was not black, and that Netflix could have sidestepped much of the controversy by reframing the series as a work of speculative fiction. Others, meanwhile, accused Smith of cultural appropriation, of taking one of the most statuesque figures in Egyptian history and shoehorning her into a series called African Queens. Director Tina Garavi nevertheless defended her artistic decision, calling James' casting a political act, while asserting that Cleopatra likely looked more like James than the white Elizabeth Taylor, who played her in the iconic 1963 film. There would have of course been many of the usual suspects with their teeth out for the show regardless of its categorization, but Netflix did themselves no favors at all here. Beyond this, critics also panned the show for just not being very good. Number 2. The AI-produced opening title, Secret Invasion. Beyond the controversy of just how disappointing it was, the MCU's Secret Invasion caught all the wrong headlines the very day it premiered, when it was revealed that the title sequence was created using artificial intelligence tools. Given that there's been growing concern about the use of AI in Hollywood in recent times, namely how it theoretically appropriates existing work without credit and threatens to put real artists out of work, there was naturally considerable backlash against Disney for using the tech on such a mega-budget TV series. For their part, however, the company who designed the titles, Method Studios, assert that AI didn't result in any artists being replaced, but rather that a custom AI tool was used to help generate otherworldly and alien aspects of the sequence. Either way, the discomfort about the tech creeping its way into the creation of art is understandable, especially given the speed at which AI can evolve, and the current lack of regulation surrounding its use, as was a key issue of the then ongoing Writers Guild of America strike. Others, however, actually found it appropriate that a show about uncanny mimicry built its opening titles in such fashion. At number 1, David Cho's podcast joke, Beef. Netflix's dark comedy drama series Beef is one of 2023's most unforgettable shows. A fascinatingly ridiculous romp centered around two individuals, played by Steven Yeun and Ali Wong, who share a fast-escalating feud following a road rage incident. Though Beef released a strong critical acclaim, mere days after it hit the streaming platform, a 2014 podcast episode resurfaced in which one of the show's stars, David Cho, remarked that he committed quote-unquote rapey behavior against a masseuse. The comments proved controversial enough at the time that Cho's work as an artist was protested, prompting him to apologize for them in 2017, while insisting that the podcast was a work of ill-advised comedic fiction rather than a legitimate confessional. Nevertheless, Cho's joke was brought back into the public eye following Beef's release, prompting backlash against Netflix, co-producer A24, cast members Yeon and Wong, and series creator Lee Sung-jin for being radio silent on the subject. Yeon, Wong, and Jin eventually released a statement noting the disturbing nature of Cho's initial remarks, while adding that he's put in the work to address his mental health woes and learn from his mistakes. All the same, the whole exhausting furore cast a cloud over what was, on its own terms, one of the most imaginative and deftly crafted shows released this entire year.